Plenary was marred by a rowdy session as Senate President Godswill Akpabio ordered that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan be thrown out of the chamber after she refused to relocate to another seat in the Senate. Arise correspondent Omo Bazwaye has more on the day's drama.
Drama. High drama in the Senate chamber with Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the center of the entire conflict. At Thursday's plenary, trouble started after the Chief Whip, Senator Nwebonyi, informed Akpabio about Senator Natasha's refusal to relocate to a new seat allocated to her as the Senate tries to fill the space created by the defection of two senators from the opposition to the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. Coming on Order 24 and 6, Senator Nwebonyi emphasized his power and those of the President of the Senate on the matter and concluded that it is within the discretion of the President of the Senate to change Senator's seat as a situation may warrant.
The President of the Senate decided to rearrange this seat, giving directives to the Chief Whip to exercise that function. And pursuant to that directive, seats were reallocated, and I was surprised to report that Senator Natasha, having given another seat, refused to vacate her former seat in flagrant violation of our rules.
Nwebonyi insisted that a senator can only speak from the seat allocated to him or her, stressing that the Senate President can then go ahead to exercise his power not to allow the senator contribute to any matter from a seat not allocated to him or her. Senator Natasha instantly stood up, trying frantically to come on Order 10, suggesting that her privileges had been breached. But it was a little too late, as Senator Nwebonyi's orders had already been sustained, and Akpabio was not willing to listen to what she had to say.
Order, please.
Dismiss Senator Natasha, please. You are not recognized to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, Order 10 on privileges. Order 10 on privileges.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion.
The Senate President then ordered the Sergeant at Arms to evict Senator Natasha from the chamber, as the senator from Kogi Central continued to protest loudly, unwilling to let go her seat or leave the chamber. This also earned her a suspension call.
Show me the session that allows suspension immediately.
By this time, Senator had taken position, ready to escort Natasha out before a few senators, including sitting partner Senator Austin Akobundu, stopped them. But then, other senators quickly intervened, appealing to the Senate President. Their intervention, however, managed to douse all of the tension, leaving Natasha occupying her seat and staying put in the chamber. Later, the two other senators from Kogi State, Issa Jubrin and Sunday Karimi, apologized to the Senate over what had played out.
Let us not go further to go into committee of the whole to just discuss this issue. Let's focus on why we're elected here. The matter will be dealt with at the appropriate time.
Omo Bazwaye, Arise News.
Joining us now to discuss the Senate plenary, which was marred by the rowdy session when Senate President Godswill Akpabio ordered that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan be thrown out of the chamber, is Senator Peter Nwebonyi, Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate. Good morning, Senator Nwebonyi. Great to have you on the morning show today.
Thank you,
I'm sure you were on the floor. I don't know if you were on the floor yesterday because you were in Lagos this morning. Okay, so great. Thank you for coming here today physically.
Thank you.
Can you share with us what truly transpired? We saw what happened. The video footage has shown us. But from your perspective, what happened yesterday?
Well, thank you so very much, Rights family, for this opportunity to clear the coast on some of this unfortunate incident. It didn't matter a city yesterday. It merely distracted us for 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
Before I go into details, I will tell you the sitting arrangement in the Senate. We have 2 sides of the Senate. The majority party sits at the right-hand side of the presiding officer, while the opposition party sits at the left-hand side of the presiding officer, in this case, the Senate president. And you will agree with me that a few weeks back, some senators from the opposition defected to the ruling party, the APC, thereby creating vacuum within the sitting arrangement in the opposition sitting cycle. And by our rules, particularly Order 6, Rule 1, empowers the presiding officer, which is the Senate president, to reallocate seats to senators where there is defection. And this allocation of seats did not only affect Natasha, it affected other senators within the sitting role of the opposition. And Natasha, instead of moving to the new seat allocated to her, refused to do that. And by doing so, she breached the rule of the Senate. So it's a very unfortunate incident because to me, it is unwarranted. It shouldn't be. The seats are all the same. It's just for us to have normalcy and without creating vacuum under the sitting arrangement. That is why the Senate president exercises powers as enshrined in our rules and regulations as a parliament. And that is the parliamentary practice all over the world. So I want to join my colleagues to condemn this unwarranted act.
Senator, real quickly. There's a video making a round of how the same Akpabio protested in 2018. In fact, Akpabio was speaking while he was not being permitted to speak by the then Senate President Bukola Saraki. He was obviously relying on the point of order, the same point of order he ignored in the chamber yesterday to advance his own mission to silence the voice of the perceived disloyal colleague. You know, so for avoidance of doubt, Senator Akpoti had all her privilege and right to speak at that point, enshrined in Senate standing room, but he shut her down. Wait a minute. This is the same. Akpabio too did the same thing to Saraki. There's video evidence there. I can send it to my producer now to put it on air so that it be facts. You don't lie. Secondly, she complained about persistently suppressing her voice. We all saw when he used words like, this is not a club for his own fellow Senate member. He's not higher than her. He's just first among equals. So he has used words like he's denigrated her. Not only him, all female voices have been stifled in the Senate. Even King Gibe's voice, Regella King Gibe, all of them are complaining. So what they are saying is that there's so much testosterone in the Senate, you suppress female voices. That's what you people are doing.
Well, I will speak of what happened during Saraki's time. That is the 8th Senate. I was a state party chairman then, so I wasn't in the Senate. So I can't speak for what I don't know.
But we can show you the video. We have empirical facts.
Even if, supposing,
he did the same. Akpabio did the same then.
Supposing, but without considering that the now Senate president did so, 2 wrongs cannot make a right.
Oh, but it was
we must. Senate is the highest law-making body in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, the greatest and the most powerful institution under democracy. And as such, we must conduct ourselves in line with our rules. And the rule says you cannot speak except the presiding officer permits you to speak. Go to Order 6, Rule 5. It's there. So what Natasha did is outrightly outside the provision of our rules. And nothing can remedy it. Nothing can remedy it. And the allegation that he used to suppress the voice of the female senators, I disagree with you.
No, but
the same yesterday.
He said this is not a club now.
The same yesterday.
Was that right for him to have said?
I'm coming. The same
answer. Was that right for him to have said?
He was not addressing her.
No, that the Senate is not a club.
He was talking in passing. Yes.
But he apologized afterwards.
He was advising the entire senator.
No, don't raise your voice, Senator. Keep your voice down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please don't raise your voice at me.
Thank you.
With due respect.
Thank you, sir.
Keep your voice down.
Thank you.
I'm the moderator here.
Thank you.
Please. He actually apologized after that statement. So that means he showed contrition. That's a fact.
Okay. First and foremost, the statement made by the Senate President on that said day, because I was also in chambers, he was not addressing Senator Natasha. He was addressing the General Senate. The Senate is not a marketplace, a clubhouse, where you can shout on top of your voice the way you want. He's trying to advise us as a father that we should act within the rules of the Senate. He was not addressing Senator Natasha. He was talking to everybody as a presiding officer.
All right, Professor Kila.
Senator Nwebonyi, I do agree with you that the Senate should not be a place of drama.
Good.
You said the chairs are the same. Was there any particular reason why it mattered so much that she changed her chair? Yes. That she didn't want to say that? Is there a particular reason?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
She is not the only senator that was affected by that seat reallocation. Before now, Senator Yayi, that represented Lagos West, now representing Ogun West, was reallocated from his former seat to another seat. Senator Joseph Okalo was reallocated from his former seat to another seat. Senator Ifeanyi Oba was also reallocated. These are minor things, normal procedure.
I think she overreacted, but
she overreacted. That is the point.
Okay. So let's go.
Admitting that.
I do, but let's now go to another person that overreacted and wonder: do you think the Senate President overreacted in immediately not allowing her to talk, escorting her out, suspending her? I mean, that's the nuclear button.
She was not suspended. She was not escorted out.
She was not.
She was asked to go. She refused.
She refused to go.
Senate President, being a father, ignored her, and we condemn the business of the day.
All right. Okay. Let me ask a question on.
By the way, the Senate President is not the father. Stop saying that. The Senate President is the first among equal.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Okay, let me take that.
Right.
Let me take that.
Did he grant you? Is he your father?
All right.
But let's go ahead.
Let me just ask a question around House rules, points of order, because that's also quite contentious. And I really want our viewers to understand, and this is an opportunity to learn about the procedure in the House, in the Senate.
Thank you.
The first thing was that the Chief Whip raised the point of order that she wasn't sitting where she was supposed to be sitting.
Yes.
What should have naturally followed is that the Senate President ought to have given Senator Natasha an opportunity to defend herself, true or false. Usually when a point of order is raised, before a decision is made by the Senate President, but he didn't give her that opportunity. So and he didn't. So that was one. The second part of it was that she made a claim that usually when you want to raise a point in the Senate, your hand is raised and the Senate President has to recognize you before you're allowed to speak. She said she'd been marginalized consistently.
That is the order of the Senate rule.
Consistently. And so she had to stand up. And if you recall, this has happened in the past between Dino Melaye, Dimeji Bankole, that sometimes, and that's what Rufai was talking about, their voices being silenced. Is there merit to this? Because I want you to explain to us, because that was evidence of bias from the Senate President, that he didn't, when the point of order was raised by the Chief Whip, didn't give her an opportunity to either defend herself or not, and then, make a decision following that. What do you say about that? Because that's the contention, that there's a lot of marginalization, so share with us and an opportunity to educate her.
He who goes for equity must come with clean hands. Senator Natasha, before yesterday's plenary, has been assigned to a new seat, and she refused to sit on her seat. And our rule is that you can't speak except you are sitting on the seat assigned to you. So for the Senate President not giving her a chance to speak is in line with the rules. If she has moved to her seat and raised that point of order, I tell you, the Senate President would have given her the opportunity to speak. Our rules are strict. It's not made by Akpabio. No, you didn't answer my question. It has been there. No, I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. You're talking of suppressing her voice. Yes. This is the same person that came up with a bill yesterday. The bill was taken. If you are suppressing her voice, we could have taken that bill on the Diaspora Bank. But the bill scared first reading. This is a senator, the first day she was sworn in, she was made a committee chairman.
But she's removed from that particular committee.
To another committee. Yeah. It's possible. Yeah. I was chairman of the Senate Committee on Works. But I have to resign because I'm not a principal officer. I'm not chairing any committee. Yeah. These are rules and practices obtainable in every parliament all over the world. You can't speak.
Question. Just as we go, you didn't answer my question around the point of order. Senate President giving her an opportunity.
That's what I said. You can't speak until you're on your seat. That answers your
But
question.
she could have defended herself based on
On
that.
your seat, go to your seat.
The Senate President made a decision without allowing her to respond to that point.
Go to your seat and respond. That is the issue. Get me right. You cannot speak outside your seat. You can't speak outside your seat.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Order 6, Rule 2 to 5. You read it. I can show it. Let me read it with you.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so
No, the whip ready.
It's simple.
The whip ready.
Okay.
Senate is a serious institution. It's not a place you can come with whatever you take everybody with. No, we have rules.
Classroom senators, not even
Not
classroom.
even a classroom.
I want the senators to come in and learn from our classrooms how to behave, because
We must
you must
learn.
learn. And from classroom, because in reality, starting from the Senate President to a lot of senators, there's so much drama and little law. We beg you to go back there, reduce the drama, and give us more legislation. And other senators, if they tell you to change your seat, you too change your seat.
Simple.
Let's leave it at that.
All right. Well,
Thank you very much,
Senator,
Senator.
for your time with us.